We are currently in a bull market inside the crypto market, but 2 days ago I said, if Bitcoin fell 15% in the next 7 days, what would you do? 91.3% of people said, I'd buy more, and 8.7% said they would sell. Which one are you currently? Are you buying or selling crypto? Please let me know in the comments. It's amazing that 1,279 days ago, we actually started this community. And I believe we've created one of the best communities on YouTube. If you're new, a very warm welcome, and welcome back, CTKS family. One of the things that we first need to understand, where in the cycle are we? We're in the bull market phase, but inside a bull market, and it may not look like it, there are some serious retracements in here. And when I mean serious, I mean serious. The first thing that you realistically need to do is to understand, are the markets strengthening or weakening? And if you were looking at the cheat sheet, you would know that they've been weakening over the past couple of days. That's exactly why I put out that post on X/Twitter. What I'm going to do is to guide you through how you can look at the different rows of the cheat sheet to gain a bit of an understanding about why price is coming down and what it's likely to do. Is it likely to come down more, or is it likely to boost itself up? One of the things that you want to be aware of, the bias is towards the upside. There's no doubt about that. But please be aware, as far as crypto goes, it is manic. A lot of people are just getting into the market right now and they have no clue on earth what they're doing. They haven't been here for the period of time that we've been here. So if you're just new to crypto, please reach out inside the comments and say, I'm new here. And that will help me to tailor content specifically for you. There's a fantastic show ahead, so let's run the numbers. Welcome back, everyone. What I do is to give you an institutional perspective on the markets, and all markets are intercorrelated and interconnected. We can see just in the past 24 hours, the Nasdaq has come down, Taiwan's market has come down, S&P, Russell, the Dow, Germany, Australia is not doing too badly actually, but Japan came down, China dumped pretty hard, and the UK is not doing well at all. Now, what does this actually mean? If you think about it, if you're inside the stock market, and the majority of investors and traders are inside the stock market, if they're feeling the pinch by prices coming down, well, they're not going to be too happy about that. Somebody told them the price only goes in one direction, which is up. And of course, that's where we would like it to go. But these retracements are really, really natural. But we have to determine, is this a retracement or is this something more? And if we're retracing, where are we likely to come down to? The only way to answer those questions is structure, and not recent indicative price structure. You can't look at a level here and a level here and just ignore all of that price action and say, I know where it's going. No, that's not how it works. Well, at least it doesn't work that way at the top end of Finance Town. And that's where you are right now, because everything we do is absolutely cutting edge and institutional grade. There's a lot of different metrics and different charts and graphs that we can look at, but when we look at Bitcoin, it's looking pretty good and it's started to take off. It's looking fantastic in so many respects. And it pretty much looks like we're just starting to get going, but just be aware, it's going to be a bumpy ride to the top. Don't think that it's going to be just a straight arrow and no retracements. When Bitcoin comes down a little, guess what the alts do? They bleed like hell. You must be prepared for negative volatility. And more importantly, you want to take advantage of it. What I'm going to do is to show you row 1 inside the cheat sheet. Now these have all the CTKS levels, and these are from the indicators from the service. The link is in the description of this video. What we do inside row 1 is we determine, is row 1 coming up? If row 1 is coming up, actually that's really bad for the crypto market and also the stock market. Right at this current time, the VIX is throwing an upward bias signal. Now we have to triangulate this. We can't just say, oh, the VIX is doing this, therefore everything's going to die. It doesn't work that way. What you see right now is a retracement. That blue line is Bitcoin. As the VIX spikes up, there is fear inside the market, and the fear is very, very much felt by Bitcoin. Now, there's some really interesting things happening here. On the US 10-year yield, look at this. We've hit a structural resistance level and we've bounced back. This is actually weakening the dollar and the dollar-yen combo. It's also weakening the 2-year. This is very important to understand. When the yields are basically spiking up, what's the blue line doing? What's Bitcoin doing? Well, it doesn't kind of like it. Look at the 2-year. When it spikes up, what is Bitcoin doing? Guess what? What Bitcoin does is also what the stock market does. And what does that mean? Does that mean if I know where Bitcoin is going, I perhaps know where Apple and Tesla and Nvidia are going? Yeah, it does mean that. It's awesome. Okay, so what are we seeing? Fear is spiking, but the dollar and yields are starting to actually push themselves down. Now, what the heck does that mean? It basically means there's fear inside the market, but it's not being reflected so greatly inside other cross-correlated charts. Now, we can't just look at row 1, we need to look at row 2. What is this thing? This is junk bonds. And what are junk bonds? Well, they're junk that people buy to get a yield. Well, not very good idea, is it? They're junk, but it gives them a high return, so they like it. Now, what is cooking here? As junk bonds is coming down, what is Bitcoin doing? Yeah, it's coming down. Pretty damn interesting. Let's scoot down and have a look at gold. You can see gold lost the 2565 structural level, came down through a negative CTKS gap and found structural support at the 2556 mark. It's currently deciding if this is either an underside retest or a resumption upwards. And look at what silver did as well when it was selling down because the yields were spiking. And you've seen the yields started to just come down and the dollar started to decay. That's put positive momentum inside of commodities such as gold and also silver. But it's also helping digital gold, which is Bitcoin. And look at all this structural support on silver around that 3030 mark. Wow, looks fantastic. This is such a cool channel. We only talk about things that are real time. One of the things that I want to just let you know, the update available, that little indicator just means that you can right click and just update the script and whammo, it's going to update the script for you. So if you see yourself running out of lines, if you're in the service, that's how you fix it up. Okay, what is the euro doing? The euro is down there at the current time. Let's see if we have an update on this script. It's not a bad idea to do this because the euro has been very, very turbulent. Why? Because the DXY has been going nuts. Absolutely crazy stuff. The DXY has seen such action as we have not seen for a very long time. So what do we see inside the euro structure? This level around just north of the 105,300 is very, very strong, and it's held all of that price decay in the euro dollar, and it's now starting to come up. And this is bearing in mind what's happening with yields and also the DXY and dollar yen. It's very important to know the intercorrelations and interconnections. And in the profiting from CTKS method structure, I'll be going through a lot of that and giving you some really good insights into how you can make a lot of money from the markets and also become a student of the markets as well. When we look at the Aussie dollar, look at all of this structural support. Of course the DXY started to back off. Its counterpairs had so much structural support they were bound to decay the DXY and also dollar yen. Now, what does this mean? Typically, we've got to look out for junk bonds and the VIX, and they're throwing negative signals at the current time. But when we look deeper inside row 2, for example, the euro dollar and the Aussie dollar, silver and gold, we see that this may just simply be a retracement. And it's pretty nice to see copper is bouncing away from that strong structural support. One thing that we typically see is the euro dollar and Bitcoin moving in lockstep. We've not seen that for very long. We've actually seen the dollar moving in lockstep, and now it's starting to diverge. This is a process called normalization, when we have a changing of the guards, which means that the market suffers a shock. All of the intercorrelations go out the window and then need to be reformed. You'll actually find the cheat sheet to be very, very valuable, and it's completely free from ctksmethod.org. It will help you to master price action, and that's something you must absolutely do. It's a bit of a pain, but if we treat the markets like a roulette table, guess what? The house is going to win. We don't do that. We must know what our structure is and how to intercorrelate and interconnect these charts. Inside row 3, we look at the major market indices. And one thing that we can see very, very clearly, the blue line and the S&P 500, they're following each other. What about the NASDAQ? Yep, following. What about the Dow Jones? And what about the Russell? Russell, wherefore art thou Russell? Okay, I just moved the Russell up a little bit. Look at this negative CTKS gap. What happens when we get negative gaps? We get huge price volatility. Yeah, huge. And when we get huge price volatility, what happens to people? They get freaked out. Well, they don't get freaked out. If it's up a positive way, well, they get freaked in. But if it's negative, they get freaked out. But at least we know where they are. So there's a lot of negative price momentum right inside the markets at the current time. But these are the really slow, wobbly things that don't, well, they're not the futures. They close when the stock market closes. So let's look at the futures. Ta-da! Now, what are we seeing? The S&P 500. And you might say, Ken, this is too much. I just want to see what Bitcoin is doing. You are seeing what Bitcoin is doing. You will know more than most financial analysts by just watching the channel each and every day. And what are we seeing here? Look at this weakness. We got weakness inside the major indice futures. What does that mean? It means that the retracement for Bitcoin is unlikely to be over until we can see positive price momentum come back inside the futures. Please keep your eyes on the futures right at the current time. They're the charts that you need to be looking at. But Ken, I've heard somebody say, oh, the stock market and crypto are not correlated. Look at the charts, look at the blue line. How could anybody say that? Well, I guess people say whatever they want to, but it doesn't mean it's got any basis in fact or mathematics. I saw a really interesting post on X. It was like, why does this one chart differ from other charts? I can tell you the answer to that very simply. It's structure. Inside row 4, we go into the depths of the stock market, looking at Apple, Tesla, Microsoft, and Nvidia. Microsoft is really interesting. Look at this. Wow, that's pretty different. Well, look at Nvidia. That's down. Look at Tesla. That's down. Okay, Apple is up. What I'm going to do is just pop on the indicator, the structural indicator from inside the service. Now look at this. All of this structural support, which is very strong, existing around that 425.45 mark, was exactly what held Microsoft up. Structure is everything, but it takes many, well, unfortunately, it can take decades to understand this factor. And fortunately, because I've been inside financial markets for nearly 4 decades, man, I'm getting old. One of the things that I found is that I invented this structure so that you could see what the institutions can see. I just wanted to level the playing field for you, so there you go, it's a ripper. So we can see that inside row 4, there's a bit of negative price momentum, especially on Nvidia and also Tesla. Now inside row 5, we look at crypto total market cap, Bitcoin, MicroStrategy, and Ethereum. What are we noticing here? Okay, the crypto market is coming down. Well, no surprises there. We saw that the VIX is coming up, junk is coming down. Okay, we can understand things. And also the major market indices are actually a little bit weak at the current time. And what is that doing to Bitcoin? Well, you know, If they hang out together, they're like good friends. Now, let's have a look at the structural levels on total crypto market cap. And we'll also look at the structural levels on Bitcoin at the same time. Now, what are we seeing in here? Ooh la la, that is very juicy. Now, what does this little line down here mean? And look at those lines there. This is very strong structural support around the $2.82 trillion mark. And what is that structural support doing? That's the reason that Bitcoin hasn't decayed along with the indices at the current time. Remember back to Microsoft. People who know the method couldn't look at any chart without actually looking at the method first. And the beautiful thing is you can learn it for yourself. What about here? What are we seeing with Bitcoin at the current time? We can see that Bitcoin did a structural failure just below 91,000. There was a negative CTKS gap until we came into structural support around that $89,000 mark. But because there was so much negative price momentum across all of the charts, Bitcoin has been coming down with the stock market. But its structure has really held up very, very nicely. For your reference, around that 86,600 level, that's where you want to be watching. And one thing to always bear in mind, if Bitcoin is coming down, you can bet a fairly good wager that just about everything is coming down inside the crypto market. And the interesting thing is that when you get a divergence, something moves in the opposite direction. If you actually zoom in with an overlay of Bitcoin's price, you will find it's still moving in directional correlation. Strange, but true. We can therefore see a bit of weakness in row 5. Let's have a look at row 6, which is Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, Binance Coin, and Ethereum Classic. We can see that they're moving down. Bitcoin Cash is weaker than what Litecoin is. What about BNB? Yep, it's moving down. And we can see that Ethereum Classic isn't looking too badly. Let's look at the indicator for Ethereum Classic because this is really quite interesting. Ooh la la, it's making sense now because we had so much structural support behind Ethereum Classic. It just literally pole vaulted it in to structural overhead resistance. And see this, it's been coming down, but it's got reflected back up. Remember how I was saying that even if it looks like it's diverging from Bitcoin's gravitational pull, it is not. It's just getting over-exaggerated on the positive side and under-exaggerated on the negative side. And you can pretty much see that right now. This negativity inside Bitcoin was suppressed because we had a level of structural support here and strong gravitational attraction to the areas of structural resistance above. And that does happen. And that's something, gravity is such a powerful force inside financial charts. But overall, no alt can escape Bitcoin's gravity. As Bitcoin continued to come down, guess what? Ethereum Classic had no choice but to follow. Let's have a look at row 7, and we can see Bitcoin versus ADA, Solana, XRP, and Dogecoin. And what is ADA doing at the moment? It's diverting from Bitcoin's gravity. Are you sure? Let's have a look at this thing. Are we really sure that it's diverting from Bitcoin's gravity? Okay, so it went down, and when Bitcoin went up, it over-exaggerated that move. But when it came down, ADA felt it less. You can see it's actually moving in gravitational alignment, but over-exaggerating the upsides. So, is it important to know where Bitcoin is going? Oh, you bet. If you don't know where Bitcoin is going, you don't know anything about the crypto market in terms of the charts. So it's vitally important that you know what Bitcoin is doing. Now, where does Bitcoin bounce from? It bounces from structural levels. Where does it get caught? And the sellers enter on structural levels as well. Knowing your structure is an absolute game changer. And look at Doge, it's just moving with gravitational alignment with Bitcoin's gravitational pull. And that doesn't surprise us at all. What about XRP? Is it going positive when Bitcoin goes positive? And is it going negative when Bitcoin goes negative? Hopefully, this should be a real eye-opener for you. If you understand how these things work, you can literally make an absolute fortune inside the crypto market. Therefore, I have a really good question for you. There's something for the comments. If Bitcoin continued to come down and down and down, would that pull ADA down? Just assume it's like this. Would it pull ADA and XRP down, or would they somehow avoid it? That's a really important question to just ponder over. I've had a couple of people reach out and say, Ken, where can I get the Doge, you can get that from the service, but where can I get the SHIB indicator, the WIF indicator, the Pepe indicator, or Pepe indicator, because it's payday, the Bonk indicator, and the Floki indicator from? They'll be available absolutely free of charge and for 12 months, marked up with level 1 and level 2 standard certification inside the memes trading course, which will be coming out after the Profiting from CTKS Method Structure course, which will come out in December. I'm so excited with that course. The Profiting course is undeniably awesome. Absolutely awesome. There are some new methodologies that I've developed for you to help you trade through the bull market and to give you beautiful night's sleep. Even if you get a 30% retracement, you can profit from it. You will sleep like a baby, and you'll also make a ton of money in the process. And if you're eligible for the free course, just register inside the link in the description of this video. That's the Profiting course. Binance Institutional very kindly offered Kate and I tickets for the Australian Crypto Convention in Sydney at the International Convention Centre. If you're up in Sydney, please say hi when we're up. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I look forward to catching up with you if you're in Sydney. As a community, we do have a lot of heart. It's not about just making money, although money is pretty nice stuff, but it's also about feeling good about yourself and what you do as well. Therefore, we have the CTKS Creed, which is all about daily positive affirmations for abundance, financial success, and of course, happiness, which is the most important thing. And it's very important to know that the universe wants you to succeed. And we can always show kindness, integrity, and gratitude to other people because we're never in competition with them. We're only seeking to be the best versions of us that we can be. And also know that yesterday is done and dusted, and opportunities and life reset daily. Unfortunately, a lot of people hold on to grudges and they hold on to so much negativity. They never understand that life resets. And of course, you can't be happy if you're holding on to negativity. So just say to yourself, life resets daily. Today is a new day. Bull markets are really, really turbulent, and you will have pullbacks not only in the market but in life as well. Always know that those pullbacks are not meant to weaken you. They're meant to strengthen you. They're meant to teach us that we just get along with other people, and more importantly, get along with ourselves as well. One thing that we always do, always be dedicated and committed. Understand, win or learn, and never blame. When you get a loss inside the markets, it is not personal. When you get a gain inside the market, that is also not personal. Do not ever tie your profit or loss to your self-esteem. That is a big, big mistake. It's easy to do, but please don't do so. Always know that you are worthy no matter what you do in life. And just think about it like this. Whenever you get a life pullback, whether inside the markets or inside life, that darkness that you feel, that descent into problems, that is actually just telling you what is important in your life, because you will hit structural support inside your own personality and you will rally into your next life rally. Life isn't about what we get, it's about who we help and who we love, and also who we become as people. Have a great day or night ahead, my friends, and I just love all the comments that people made about their favorite line inside the creed. It was just beautiful. Kate and I look forward to catching up with you again in the next video. Bye for now.